Hello Commanders, welcome to the command table. My name is Matt and I'm going to be taking you through 3 different SR levels of Wicker Colossus. We got my second profile up to SR15, so now I've got 2 at that level. Before we get into that, if you would please be so kind as to like, subscribe, and if you want notifications when I drop new videos, be sure to hit that notification bell. Also, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those below. So, just real quick, this is my primary profile, which is kind of redundant, but we'll just go ahead and zip through it anyway. I've got Berserk on every available red slot for the Warhounds. I've just got regular damage and run speed, which is important for those Plaguebearers. And then I've got double Berserk on as many Wraiths as I had stones for. We're using, just Earthquake. There's 20% of max health and 75% chance of stun and throw in the air. And the burn doesn't matter because the boss doesn't attack. The elixirs I'm using, I saw Viktor's video earlier. I'll put a link to it if there is a link available in the description. But I saw him using Regen, Time, and Force Resistance. And it worked better than the video that he did prior to that, where he used Power instead of, I believe, Regen? One of them. He used a different elixir. But using these 3, he did a lot better. So I figured that's a great idea. I will do that. And I will link to his video. So if there is a link for it, I will see if it's a YouTube video or if he just posted it directly to Discord. But if there is a link, I will put it in the description. So great job, Viktor. Thank you for the elixir selection there. It worked very well. Managed to get that one-shots on my primary account because I've got the sufficient unit levels for it. My second account matches with my TCT clan that just reached SR15. My unit levels are a little lower, so I don't have as many red slots to put the Berserks on, but I did have more Berserk Powerstones available, so I was able to put them on everything in every slot that is available. So for my Warhounds, I didn't have as many double red slots. Now, same deal, it's SR15, so there's going to be 20% max health. There's a big difference between SR15 and my next profile that you'll see, which is SR11. I'm just going through all the same stuff. It's basically all the same. I just have lower unit levels, lower artifact levels. The difference between SR15 and SR11 is that every 5 seconds you get 10% total health damage instead of 20. So that does affect the duration that Berserk is active. On SR15, you get to that threshold a lot faster. So using the time elixir on SR15, you get there in about 20 seconds, I think, because the first 5 seconds, nothing happens. Then that first one hits, and then it's 5-10 seconds after that. So yeah, right about, so it's not here. Okay, it should be at the 10-second mark where it really starts to crank. Okay, there you go. Now you'll see the percentage start to really shred, and I do get some lucky hits with the spear procs with the meteors hitting. So very lucky. I got a one-shot on my first go with 3 elixirs, but the second time around I didn't get as lucky with the spear procs. So here's where I fall short. We'll kind of fast forward through this just because it takes a while to get there. But 4, 3, 2, 1, and I've got about 8% left. But you'll notice when that Berserk hits, it really starts to crank. So way better than the regular damage Power Stone. But again, my unit levels just aren't quite the same on this second profile. So I just did a cleanup with no elixirs. I just ran it through. And when I did this, I realized that I can get over 50% equivalence in the total damage down here even with no elixirs. So my thought process is that if it costs 15 gems per elixirs, because you can get 5 in a bundle for 75. So 15 gems per elixirs, you use 3 elixirs, that's 45 gems. If you buy the raid keys, or if you just have a bunch of them hanging around that you can spare, then that's actually less expensive, because the raid keys, you can get 10 in a pack for, I think, 400? Yeah, 400. So that's actually 40 gems per key. So since I did that cleanup, I then switched to just using no elixirs and 2 keys. And that way, between my free keys and just using the 1 extra premium key per heart, that's only 40 gems per heart as opposed to 45 with elixirs. So, sorry, I know that's a lot of numbers being spat out at you. I apologize. But the long and short of it is that it's actually safer to do 2 attempts and less expensive by 5 gems just by buying that extra key. But fortunately, I have a ton of them lying around because I haven't had to use them very much. So the next attempt was basically the exact same. I just get over 50% because I got 56 last run, which left 44. And then this time around, I'm able to cap it off very easily. So it's just going to be a lot safer for me to use 2 keys, and it'll save me 5 gems as opposed to doing 1 run with 3 elixirs, trying for the 1 shot, because if I miss, that obligates me to spend another key, which is another 40 gems. And if I need another elixir too, that adds up. So it's just cheaper to use 2 keys and no elixirs for this particular account. On my primary account, I don't know if I could get the 50% of the health in 1 key with no elixirs, so I'm just going to keep running the 3 elixirs on that one. The SR11, this is where it gets a little different. We have different, it's 10% on this earthquake. So the Berserk is not active for nearly as long. It takes longer to get there because you've got the 5 hits that are necessary to get you to 50%, and then the next hit takes you below 50%. So if it's 5 seconds per hit, that's 25 to 30 seconds. I don't know exactly when you get below that threshold, but that leaves you with a lot less time. You probably wouldn't get it without the time elixir, so the Berserk is not going to amount to anything. Okay, now here's where it starts to crank. Okay, there you go. Managed to get it in just under the wire. So the 3 elixir on that one works well. Then I tried the no elixir because I thought, oh, well, I can do the same trick that I did on the SR15, but the problem is that you only have the 30 seconds if you're using no elixirs, and it takes longer, with only 10% getting chipped off, to actually get you below that threshold for the Berserk to kick in. So if you're on SR11 and below, then the elixir option is actually better, because using that time elixir actually gets you into the zone where that Berserk will click and you'll get a lot of damage out of it. But I failed on that one, so I had to do a cap off, and there I just threw in the force resistance elixir just to make sure they got the job done. And that's another option. If you want to use 2 keys and 1 elixir, just use the force resistance elixir, because that keeps everybody moving. It makes sure that that whole time everybody's damaging. But if you're not going to use the time elixir, then you don't need to use Berserk. You can just use the regular damage Powerstones, because there's really nothing happening here as far as the Berserk is concerned. There's just not enough time for it to really count. So SR15, Berserk, yes. SR11, Berserk, yes, if you're using time. And let's see. Cheap elixir. Yeah, so I ultimately ended up deciding that it was cheaper just to use all 3 elixirs, and that's what I went back to. And these are the Powerstones and levels that I have for my SR11 account. just in case anybody's wondering. And yes, using the speed Power Stone on those Plaguebearers is tremendously helpful. I think it's better than using Berserk or the damage Power Stone for that slot, just because you can get the units there a lot faster, and they push those Warhounds around, and the Warhounds are the ones that count. The Plaguebearers are really only there to add numbers to your Primal Warhorn and to push the Warhounds around to where they get better coverage, and to push them through into the middle of those as well, not just around the main boss. So yeah, that's why you want speed on there. You want to make sure you do not have slow on them, because we did use slow on the last boss. So double check that, make sure your Power Stones are in order. For the last one, SR6 for the lobies. Finally got some decent unit levels on my Warhounds, my Wraiths, and just using whatever Power Stones I have available, using speed on the Plaguebearers, as we just mentioned. The thing about SR6 is that there is no Earthquake at all, which means that unless you're going to do some crazy acrobatics with Draining Spirit to try and get the health down on your Warhounds, it's just not worth it. Besides, it's not necessary. Very easy to get the heart if you're leveling up your Warhounds evenly. My recommendation is that you get all of them to level 20, then get them one at a time to level 50, then level them evenly from there to level 90, and then get one at a time to level 100. So, sorry, I know that was a lot all at once, but that's my recommendation for leveling your Warhounds. It is just the best bang for your buck until you can make jumps to Power Stones. So there it is. Thank you for watching. Hopefully that helps everybody. Again, thank you for supporting the channel. Please do like and subscribe, and you can always check out thecommandtable.com. We have new stuff coming there every so often, so please do check it out. And have a great day, everybody. We'll have more for you soon.